Welcome to my workshop, guys. Bit of an update today of what is happening, what new tools I've got, and I'm actually going to take you to my house so you can see a mess I've started. That is taking me a lot of time, more than I was expecting. I'm also going to take you to my garden as I'm super proud of what I've got over there as well. However, first of all, Evolution tools. Unfortunately, it's not the table saw that they just released, but I heard some really good opinions on it and I'm hoping to get my hands on that fairly soon. Fingers crossed. However, what they did send me is also quite an interesting option here, guys. It's a double bevel sliding miter saw that's battery operated. Okay. The one I've got, obviously it's corded and it's a single bevel and it served me for years. So I'm really curious to see what type of improvements they are in the miter saw itself and how well it operates as a battery powered saw. The main body of this machine comes with two 5 amp batteries and they also send me two 8 amp batteries. So the largest battery I had for my tools was 4 amps and that usually lasted for a long time and it performed just fine. So I'm quite curious how a massive saw like this, as it's 255 millimeters, so it takes large normal blades, how will that actually work with massive batteries like that, how long they're going to last and what type of performance we can expect from that. So very soon we're going to have an overview video of this saw. We're going to go through all the features, you know, the standard videos that I always make when I do get my hands on a new tool. And after a few months, I'm going to come back to you and let you know how this tool actually performs. Was there any issues, anything to watch out for? How bad is the dust extraction? As I'm not putting my hopes or the bar too high for that aspect. Although I can see the dust board is different a little bit. So yeah, we'll test all that and we'll see how it performs. I'm also thinking about making a video of a straight comparison to the saw I already have and to this one, what changed in the body, in the features and how everything works. Is it a good step forward or is it a couple of steps back? On top of it, Evolution sent me the stand for this saw. However, it fits different types of miter saw, so it's not only dedicated to a Evolution miter saw. So if you're looking for a stand in itself for any type of miter saws, this could be it. I'm going to have a look how it works, if it's any good at all, what features it has, but that will be probably in conjunction with the miter saw. I don't think that's going to be a separate video, but let me know if you do want to have a separate video on the stand itself, or are you fine with combining both together. Now I think the combination is something to be expected. A battery powered miter saw with a stand seems to be a fairly good idea. However, this is really heavy and the stand is quite heavy as well, and it's a job site saw and it's a lot of weight to carry around. I think it's for the bigger job sites. Okay, so as you set it up in the morning, it doesn't leave the place until you finish the work a couple of weeks later. As if you were to move both of these around every single day, well, I think that's going to be a bit of a chore. However, we'll see that and we'll test that when the time comes. Probably next week, end of next week, I'm going to have a video on this for you so you can have a look and yeah, check if it's actually worth the money. As I mentioned before in my last update, I do have a few more tools from Evolution coming to my workshop. It's the new cordless range. I'm not sure about the dates, not sure exactly when they're coming, but it shouldn't be too far away. And obviously I'm hoping for the table saw to come to my workshop sooner rather than later as well. And as always, guys, Evolution is sending me all the tools for free. However, they're not sponsored videos. They're not asking me to produce any specific videos, and I'm not being paid to make those videos. However, this time around, for whatever reason, they decided to give me a discount code for my viewers, for you. And on top of it, I will earn a small commission on the sales. So you're going to get Evolution tools, you're going to get a discount, and you're going to be supporting my channel. However, guys, as always, if you've been with my channel, you know that I'm not hiding any issues with any of the tools from Evolution or any other tools in that matter in my workshop. So if something goes wrong, you can be assured that you will know about it. However, moving away from the Evolution tools, I've got another tool I want to share with you, or share the information on my channel. If you watched my channel at all, you know that I do have a CO2 laser from xTool, and I absolutely love that machine. It's fantastic, loaded with features, and it just works. It works really, really well. And to be fair, it's one of the most used tools in my workshop for the business side. And that's the problem with it. It's actually quite expensive, and if you don't have a business as a DIYer, you're not really gonna buy one. It's just far too expensive. However, if you do have a small business, woodworking shop, anything like that, it's absolutely perfect. And if you not considered buying one, and if you've got the funds and means to get it, definitely get it. Tell you what, I'm going to leave some links to my experience with xTool, the CO2 laser, down below in the description of this video, so you can go have a look. It's a fantastic tool. However, xTool sent me a new laser, the F1. It's more or less like a handheld machine that you can take with you, but it also comes with a smoke purifier and some slide extensions as well. Now, I'm not being paid to make videos on this machine, although they did send me this product for free. I think it's a very good medium solution for a smaller workshop or maybe a DIY. Usually I do use my bigger lasers on cutting things out, and I find myself that I've got nothing to actually engrave the smaller objects, for example like my serving boards or chopping boards. And this is actually quite good. It's small, it's efficient, you can put it on top of your project and just engrave it like a branding iron. However, you can change the design. So I'm looking forward to test this out and see if it's actually as good as the CO2 laser. If it is, well, this could be a good option for you for a smaller workshop that maybe you don't have space for a large open frame diode laser. This could be it. However, now it's time to go to my house and you'll see what utter mess I've created there. Let's go. Apologies for the bad sound and for the echo effect, but we are in my son's bedroom. This is our first floor, and as you can see, I've got no flooring. If some of you that have been with my channel or know me a little bit closer, you know that in the whole, more or less, the whole floor of our house is wooden floor, and it's actually quite decent. It looks really nice. And initially, as we moved into this house, we loved it because the looks of it was fabulous. So you may ask the question, why the hell are you taking the floor off? Well, there's few reasons for that. On closer inspection, the floor itself was actually quite damaged by the previous owners, and us having two small kids, well, it added to the damage itself. Now, the way this floor is constructed, okay, you've got the top panel, okay, and then you've got some wooden slats that actually glue into the floor itself. And over here, you've got probably about 5 millimeters of thickness of that wood on top. So when it comes to repairing a floor like this, well, you're gonna be just repairing tiny little scratches. And I have to say, there's thousands of them. So then you can think to yourself, well, you can sand down the top layer. However, there's another problem. We also do have quite a lot of, well, not holes, but dents in the top layer. And they're quite deep, and there's loads of them as well. This type of floor may be good for an oldish couple with no kids, no pets, and they only walk on the floor in their slippers. It's just absolutely pants. And this is specially designed floor that should be really hard, really dense, and really good as I can imagine it was quite expensive. However, the reality is it's absolutely pants. And I also spoke to some of my friends and family that do have wooden floors, and they do have different species of wood on the floor, and they're all more or less saying the same thing. It gets damaged very, very easily, and it's hard to repair it because it just happens constantly. So after a few years' time, the floor looks really, really bad. So far, I managed to pull off the floors from 2 bedrooms. This is my daughter's bedroom, and as you seen just a second ago, my son's bedroom. I do still have the hallway to sort out, but I'm going to show you in just a second. And those 2 rooms took me, well, I think about 6 days. This is absolutely horrible job. And it's not the slats themselves, it's the glue that holds it to the floor. It's as hard as concrete. You know, sometimes you hope for the specialist that was putting them down to actually do a bad job in situations like this. However, my luck is, well, they've done a really good job and nothing happened to this floor, and it's sticking like crazy to the floor. So it's a job and a half to actually remove it. Now, the second and main reason we wanted to remove this floor is because all over our house we've got floor heating. Now imagine how well the heat from the floor is penetrating the wood slats. Well, it's not. I really got no idea what the investors that were building this house had in mind on the floor heating and wooden floor. Absolutely horrible idea. In the winter time, we actually checked the differences of temperatures between the wooden floor and, for example, our bathroom where we've got tiles. And the difference was between 6 to 4 degrees Celsius. And that's a lot, right? That's massive. When you're on the tiles, on your bare feet, you can feel the warmth. On wooden floor, not so much. And to heat our house, we actually use a heat pump, which is electric, okay? So the whole idea of changing the floor to tiles is to save a lot of money, as our bills, electric bills, in the winter time were absolutely horrid. So that's the second and the most important reason we decided to get rid of this absolutely gorgeous wooden floor and install some tiles. Now, this is the hallway, what I've still got left to do to sort out what I've got to take off. As you can see, that's probably gonna take me another 5 days to remove, at least. So as you can see, there's still plenty of work ahead of me with this floor, hence the videos in the near future may be a little bit patchy. Now, I'm not going to do a video on removing this floor as it would be very boring. I've got a hammer drill and I just use that for hours on end, so I don't think that would be very interesting, and there's nothing special or secretive about it. You just have to be very careful not to damage the concrete that the floor is sitting, as remember, I do have pipes running in the floor with the floor heating. And unfortunately, I'm not going to show you my tiling skills, as, well, they're almost non-existing, and I only put tiles once in my life, and that's in a house in the UK. They were large, the room was square, so there was no issues with it, and it was donkeys of years ago. The tiles we're going to be putting down now, the herringbone tiles, I think that's the name for that. Basically, they go like that, okay? So in the box itself, you've got the left side and the right side, and there is no stops between the rooms. So in here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rooms the whole way, and there's no stops, okay? The tiles themselves, they will run through all the rooms seamlessly, no stops anywhere, apart from the bathroom and the utility room. So it's actually very difficult to lay them down, and we had a very difficult job of finding somebody that would be willing to put them down, as it is a job and a half to do. I was told they're going to spend 2 days on actually just planning the layout, as you can't really make any mistakes with them. On top of the difficulty, the tiles themselves, I think we're absolutely crazy with those tiles. I don't know why we've picked them. They weren't too expensive, they were not cheap, somewhere in the middle. Expensive for us, let's put it that way. On top of it, there's a bit of a caveat with these tiles, as I think the company that makes them is in Italy, okay? And they do batches, okay? They do batch of 1,000 tiles, for example. And you cannot mix and match the tiles from different batches, as they're not gonna fit together, okay? So that's absolutely crazy as well. So obviously we had to buy a little bit more of the tiles just in case. So in total, I think we've got 15% more than the amount that is actually required to tile the floor. So as you can see, there is no room for error, as we cannot get any extra, as more or less all these tiles have sold out. We actually had to order them to get them. It's not that they're just lying about. You have to order them to get them, you wait for them, and yeah, so no pressure for the tiling crew at all. And that's why I'm not gonna be doing the tiling myself. I've got a crew that hopefully will do a good job for me. Now with that out of the way, let me show you what I've got in my garden. Yes guys, it's a greenhouse. I wanted one in my vegetable garden for years, and I finally do have one. Inside I've got 11 square meters, so that's plentiful for our needs, and hopefully it will give us fantastic harvest this season and seasons to come. So yeah, my new pride and joy, a new greenhouse. And I managed to put this together with my dad. He was the helping hand in, well, making sure nothing falls on my head. And I have to say, it wasn't any super easy task, especially with the instructions, the manual that came with this. Well, it was lacking, let's put it that way. So it took us a little bit longer to put this together, but finally it's here. I still need to sort out some raised beds for the inside, and that will be a video on this channel. I decided to pull some electrics from the house as well, so that was an additional task that I didn't plan to start with, but I think having electricity in a greenhouse is actually quite beneficial, especially in the early season, when sometimes the plants that will be here will need a bit of a additional heating during the cold nights. If you are interested in gardening, if you've got an allotment, or you like to grow your own vegetables, well, I've actually started a second channel. If you don't know about that yet, it's Casual Gardening and Cooking. So hey, I'm going to leave a link to the second channel down below in the description of this one and in the pinned comment, so you can go ahead, look at it, check it out, and if you like it, drop me a subscription over there as well, as there will be a lot of content coming to that channel as the season is picking up. So there's plenty to cover there. And if you are starting your adventure with gardening or growing your vegetables, that's a perfect start. So yeah, go have a look and check it out. However, for today guys, that's it. That's everything I wanted to share with you. Some really cool and exciting things ahead of us, and I hope you're going to join me here on Casual DIY, but also on Casual Gardening and Cooking. That's it from me today. Take care.